I'm Athletic Director Brian Kerr, and I'd like to welcome you to this orientation session for parents of first-year athletes at Hesston College. We're excited to have your son or daughter on campus, and we hope that it's a great experience for everyone this year. I'd like to start by introducing you to the head coaches and some of our athletic staff. Michelle Miller-Sharp is our eligibility and compliance specialist. You may have already received information from her. She makes sure that we are eligible to participate, and it does a very important job for us. Christy Bell is our women's softball coach, coming off of a strong season last year. Thomas Gaskell is our new women's soccer coach, and he will be the one with the British accent on campus. We're excited to have Thomas with us. Lowell Stevens is our men's golf coach. Jacob Gibbs is the sports information director and event manager. You'll see Jacob at nearly every home athletic contest. And students, if you're looking for a job, why, he hires some students to help with stats. Our head athletic trainer is Whitney Worth. She'll try and keep everyone healthy this year. Our women's basketball coach is Michael Smalley. Our men's soccer coach and assistant athletic director is Matthew Gerlach. Christina Wankum will be our disc golf coach, a new club sport this year. I have a question mark on this. We are starting women's flag football. We haven't hired a coach. We will not have a team this year, but we'll be actively recruiting for women's flag football this year. Cassidy Flughoft is our women's volleyball coach. Kyle Olson will be our men's baseball coach, returning off of a record-setting season last year. Matt Hebert, our men's basketball coach. Joe Cappuccino will coach cross country and track. Those are our athletic department employees, and you will see them around campus. Say hello to them. Our mission statement of Hesston College, we want you to know what it is, and we want to try to live up to it. The Hesston College mission statement says, Hesston College educates and nurtures each student within Christ-centered community, integrating thought, life, and faith for service to others in the church and the world. It's a short statement, but there are a lot of things in there that we want to do. As coaches, we want our examples of Christ-centered living to permeate throughout the program. We want to develop community here on Hesston College. We talk about the Hesston College experience, which is different than a lot of colleges, and community will be important. We are an educational institution with freedom of thought, and we want it to be a great educational experience for each of our students. In athletics, we also talk about the Lark Way. And the Lark Way is focusing on developing the whole person, not just the athletic side of life. We want you to develop as a student. We want you to develop great character and to develop as an athlete. Our coaches are committed to developing young people in their walk with Christ. We're committed to the pursuit of athletic excellence. And we're committed to developing high character servant leaders and to developing student athletes academically. We also talk about our core values. In previous times, we might have talked about our athletic philosophy, but we refer to core values. And our number one core value is community. All right? We want to be a welcoming and gracious ambassadors of Hesston College. We want to develop community within our teams, and we want our athletes to be part of the wider Hesston College community. We have a core value of accountability. As coaches and athletic staff, we want to be accountable to plan great practices, to make great schedules, to help our athletes be the best that they can be, and to communicate well with each of you. We also want athletes who are accountable to come to practice every day, to find joy in the sport, to put forth great effort, to be accountable in the classroom, to do what needs to be done to succeed. A third core value is engagement. We want our student athletes to be engaged across campus, whether it be in chapel, the classroom, athletics, other extracurricular activities, intramurals, CAB events. We want students engaged in their mod, and we want our coaches to be engaged in the broader spectrum of activities across campus. And the last core value is joy. Why do we play sports? They bring us joy. If I look back on some of my best high school and college memories, it involves athletics, and also memories as a coach. There are moments of great joy. Yes, there can be tough moments when you lose a tough game, and we remember those too, but we play because we find joy in the journey of athletics. I want to talk to you a little bit about academics and class. There are class attendance policies at Hesston College. If you miss more than 20% of a class, you can be denied credit by the professor. And I want you to know that that includes excused absences, that 20%. So for athletes that are going to miss some class due to game schedules, you can't really skip class. You put yourself in jeopardy if you do that. So please go to class. We will never ask an athlete to miss class for practice or a team session, but you will miss class for games. That's just the way it is. When missing for games, we ask that you communicate with professors ahead of time and that you make up all work for that class period before you go. I want to talk a little bit about eligibility. How do you maintain academic eligibility to play your sport? When you come to college, you either have to have a diploma or a GED, and you have to be enrolled in 12 or more credit hours. If you drop a class and fall below 12 credit hours, you immediately become ineligible to compete in your sport. At the end of your first semester, you need to pass 12 credit hours, your best 12 credit hours, with a GPA of 1.75 to maintain eligibility. So if you pass 15 credit hours, your GPA would be figured on your highest grades for 12 credit hours. In your second season of eligibility, you need to have a GPA of 2.0, and you need to have passed 12 credit hours in your previous semester or have cumulative credit hours of 12 per semester of eligibility. So those are the minimum standards of eligibility. I do want you to know that the academic dean can declare students ineligible at a higher standard than the NJCAA. So if you are academically eligible but you're not putting forth effort in class and you're actually failing a class, the academic dean can make you academically ineligible for a week or two until you catch up with those grades. We want this to be a great experience, and one of the things that players can do is to talk to their coaches and interact, to listen and maintain open communication. And we would ask parents to allow their athletes to be the adult that they are now and to initiate conversations with coaches. We'd ask parents to limit the amount of communication that you do for your student athlete. You are certainly welcome to call me if you have concerns and issues. You're certainly welcome to call the coach. But if there are questions about playing time, questions about schedule, we feel it's the student athlete's responsibility to communicate with coaches. We want you to know that your coaches care about you. They're going to listen to you. We expect them to be willing to meet with you. And we also know that in college athletics, we sometimes have to embrace adversity. We have students coming, let's say that we have 18 men's basketball players coming who all started on their high school basketball team. 5 of those athletes are going to start on the college basketball team. So that's adversity. I experienced that myself when I was a college athlete. I played baseball and soccer in college many years ago, and my freshman year of baseball, the whole season I pitched 4 innings. Not a lot of game time. All right? And the bottom line is, I wasn't quite good enough. All right? And that's adversity. It's finding out about yourself. I worked pretty hard. All right? I filmed my pitching mechanics. I changed some things. I learned how to throw a changeup. All right? So by my junior and senior year on the baseball team, I was in the starting rotation. In my senior year, I was the number one pitcher on the college baseball team that I went to. So adversity can make you better. If you come into college sports, though, thinking that there won't be adversity, I would say that that's a little bit naive, because you are competing against people who at their high school were also outstanding athletes in their sport. And so you will need to compete for playing time. And will that adversity, if you experience it, make you better? We hope that it does. And we hope that coaches communicate clearly how playing time decisions are made. So do talk to your coaches. One of the things that we also have to talk about is insurance. We hope that injuries don't happen, but if they do, we want to make sure that families are not financially devastated by insurance. Your personal health insurance is the primary insurance if there's an injury. All right, the school does ask that secondary insurance is purchased, and the school covers half of the cost of that, and student athletes' families cover half of the cost of that. I want to talk to you a little bit about how that works. We have a team doctor whose name is Dr. Jennifer Kuntz. She is an outstanding physician, works out of Newton Medical Center. She has a great reputation. She is also team physician for Bethel College, as well as for Heston College. And she does a great job. She works closely with our athletic trainer, Whitney Worth. Our athletic trainer will get you appointments with Dr. Kuntz if you have an injury, and they will make referrals. It's important that if you are injured, that you tell the trainer. All right, the secondary insurance says that your injury must be reported. In other words, we can't 3 months later try to send you someplace if the injury wasn't reported. Secondary insurance also does not cover pre-existing conditions, just like most insurances do not cover pre-existing conditions. And I want you to hear this carefully. You need to go through our athletic trainer for the secondary insurance to cover you. All right, so if you go home on winter break and you want to go to your doctor at home and you want secondary insurance to pay, that's perfectly fine, but you need to communicate with the trainer and get referred and approval by the trainer, or the school secondary insurance does not cover what your insurance does not cover. Again, your insurance, health insurance, is primary, and what is not covered by your health insurance then gets submitted to the secondary coverage for injuries. So the bottom line is you have to go through the trainer. For secondary insurance to cover you, you must schedule medical appointments through Whitney Worth. You must initially be seen by Dr. Kuntz, who is, we consider, the best athletic injury physician in the area, who may refer you to other doctors. Whitney Worth may talk to you more about that in another session. I have some specific advice for athletes, student athletes who are starting school at Heston College. My first bit of advice is to start strong and maintain discipline. All right, that first week on campus, there's going to be a lot of opportunity to have fun, to meet new people, but don't put off your schoolwork. Don't get behind, all right? Discipline yourself, schedule in time for social activities, but also make sure you don't fall behind. It gets tougher as a college athlete when you fall behind. Second bit of advice for me is to be a great teammate. Think about the other people on your team and how you can encourage the other people and be a great teammate. All right? The more everyone works to be a great teammate, the better our experience is going to be. I would encourage you while you're at Hesston College to try some things outside of your comfort zone. We had an athlete last year who was in the spring play. She had never done anything like that in high school. It was a new experience for her. It opened up a lot of windows for her. Perhaps changed what she would like to think about in terms of her career. So you have opportunities to try things on campus and to meet other people. Embrace those opportunities. In your sport, push yourself to be better. Don't be satisfied with how good you are now, but constantly push yourself to be better. I want to talk to you a little bit about COVID and COVID concerns. On your screen, you will see a link to a website which has student policies related to COVID. And I want to be honest, this is being filmed before, a week and a half before athletes report to campus. And it's also being filmed before the preseason athletic directors meetings where some COVID policies will be made. So you can go to to our college webpage and you can see the current COVID policies. I will say that there are some proposals up for the athletic directors, and that athletes who are unvaccinated should expect to be tested for COVID regularly before participating in events. If you're unvaccinated, like I know that you're going to need to wear masks to classes on campus. If you're unvaccinated, you will be expected to wear masks when you travel. A big one is that if you get COVID, a change this year is if you were unvaccinated, you're going to pay for where you isolate. Last year, the college paid for a room for those who got COVID, and I believe we still will do that for those that are vaccinated. But if you choose not to be vaccinated, you assume some of the risk with the expenses related to COVID. So we don't have all the policies, game day policies yet. We'll get those. They'll be posted on our school website. And feel free to look them up at that address that was at that URL that was on your screen. We're so excited about the coming school year, about being able to have fans in the stands again, although we want to do that safely. We're excited to return to a somewhat more normal athletic experience with our regular athletic seasons, fall sports and spring sports, and not playing all at the same time. And we're so excited to have you on campus, to have your son or daughter on campus, and we want it to be a great experience. Feel free to call our offices if you have any questions or concerns. Schedules are easily available on our athletic website. I would encourage you to follow your child's team Twitter page to find out the latest up-to-date information on your child's sport. And welcome to Hesston College.
Hello, my name is Whitney Worth. I'm the head athletic trainer here at the college. I wanted to go over just a couple things about athletic training that you can expect this year. With COVID, as we all know, we've been presented with many challenges from last year, and a lot of things have changed regarding athletics with COVID. Last year was our first year learning about it and learning what to do about it. And we had return to play stuff. We worked with multiple team physicians and discovered what the best was to get our athletes to return back to normal health. It wasn't easy, it was a challenge. We did run into heart complications, which you think that can never happen, and it did. We were on our tiptoes on what was the next best step in getting our athletes back. There was symptoms you couldn't explain, and there was times athletes couldn't explain how they were feeling at all. And it was a very lost semester and year. By the end of it, we did get a spring season for all our sports, and we all made it through it, which was really exciting to just get to be able to see athletes on the courts again, and just that camaraderie, teamwork, and not to, when they're out there, not to be afraid of something that is going on that's more virtual in the world and more bigger in this world than just playing a basketball game or a volleyball game or anything. With that, we still will have protocols in place. There still will be return to play levels in place if your child would get COVID. It's really a big thing this year, and we're still going to keep our eye on the best we can and do the best we can moving forward. Another thing a little bit is our secondary insurance. Every athlete gets a secondary insurance, and this specifically covers athletic related injuries. And when I say athletic related injuries, I mean stuff that happens in the actual sport that they're in. So say they're in a soccer game and they get kicked in the arm and break their arm. That is something our secondary insurance would cover. Another example would be they're playing intramurals and they punched a wall. That would be something we would not cover. Other examples could be that they're out doing their own thing. I've had one that went and ran 12 miles and then didn't understand why their foot hurt. That wasn't part of their sport. They chose to run the 12 miles. Therefore, our secondary insurance wouldn't cover that either. So that's just kind of a glimpse of our secondary insurance. And sometimes they declare whether it's going to be covered or not. Sometimes we don't have a say in whether it should be covered or not. Most of the time with your secondary insurance here, you don't usually have to pay a lot out of pocket. I'm not going to say you never have to, because there's been times, but a lot of people don't usually pay a ton out of pocket. So, instance, your bill's $1,000, it goes straight to your primary insurance first. Say your primary insurance takes off $200 and you have $800 left. More than likely, the secondary insurance will cover that $800. It's not all the time. They may cover $697. It's just a hit and miss on how much they cover, but normally they do really good on covering the majority of the injuries. They also sometimes get slow, sometimes don't know where a claim went, sometimes not in our area, but the billing of a hospital or something that gets lost, and we kind of have to call and get on top of it. And so I always encourage students, if they're getting a bill, to go ahead and come to me, and let's see if we can't get down to the bottom of it and see what's going on with it. Another big thing is coming to us as athletic trainers. If you decide to go off on your own and go to your own doctor and not communicate with us, secondary insurance will not cover this. If you feel that you aren't getting your best help here and you're wanting to be referred on, more than likely we can refer you on and it will be paid for. Very rarely, unless you do it on your own and not tell us, would you not have it paid for. The only way to get better is to come see us. The goal isn't to just put a Band-Aid on it to make it feel good every day. The goal is to actually make it to get better, so you're better and you're not having to come in as frequently because you're better, not because you need that Band-Aid every day. So that is a little bit about athletic training. Just stop in anytime. Our hours are pretty much throughout the afternoon, about 12 to 6. Dependent on days, obviously with meetings or games or whatever. And again, I'm Whitney Worth, that athletic trainer. Thank you.